Disclaimer warning, I do not recommend fasting. One of the most frequent questions I get asked is if and how I've maintained my weight loss. You often see contestants on The Biggest Loser regain weight after the show. Rare, but sometimes commenters also warn that fasting is temporary weight loss and that you will regain all the weight back once you eat again. Well, let's discuss. So what happens after you lose weight? What happened to me? First, I think it depends on how you lost it. Traditionally, we've been told to lose weight, you need a diet and exercise. I was taught to cut out the fat and sugars and reduce my daily calories. I also needed to do about 30 to 45 minutes of cardio. This was the Biggest Loser mantra, eat less, move more, and is basically the calories in, calorie out method, or CICO, or traditionally calorie restriction. It induces a caloric deficit, causing your body to lose weight, and it totally works. In fact, it worked many times for me. However, like The Biggest Loser, I regained all the weight back. Essentially, your calories in will affect your calories out long term. Dr. Fung has charted some 28 published studies to support this. See, there's a fundamental reduction in your basal metabolic rate when following daily calories in, calories out. For example, if you're meant to consume 2,000 calories a day based off your TDEE and you cut 500 calories each day to lose weight, the math will work and you will lose weight. But your body will be used to a new baseline of 1,500 calories a day with a new corresponding metabolism and energy expenditure. So if and when you go back to 2,000 calories, the body will now think you have a 500 calorie surplus that will be stored as fat. That's why I yo-yoed in the past. That's why people from The Biggest Loser yo-yoed. It's due to the metabolic adaptation. If you follow the channel, well, first, thank you. In a very short amount of time, we somehow got close to 10,000 subscribers. It blows my mind. I'm just a lowly imbecile trying to make and share stuff. But if you haven't subscribed, help me cross this threshold because reasons. More importantly, if you've been following, you might know that I was once, actually twice, over 300 pounds. A major part of how I got down to 175 to 180-ish range is from fasting. Fasting is not the same thing as daily calorie in, calorie out, or calorie restriction. On a macro level, extended fasts, or even something like a 5-2 protocol or alternate day fasting, you are restricting calories when it's all said and done. But theoretically and in practice, your daily metabolic rate isn't disturbed to the same degree since there isn't a new, consistent daily calorie intake for your body to adapt to. Your body should expend the same amount of calories on feeding and non-feeding days, especially if you are an experienced faster or are already in ketosis. I was most recently 300 pounds in 2017. I don't even know how much over 300 pounds I was. I was in a bad space, covering mirrors and behaving like Howard Hughes. Subtle differences. He was this billionaire recluse and I had a bathrobe. The first thing I did to lose weight was go keto and started a 16-8 time-restricted feeding or intermittent fasting protocol. That's where in a day you don't eat for 16 straight hours and then you have an 8-hour window to eat. Within 3 to 4 months, I dropped about 60 pounds. I switched to a 20-4 protocol. That's where you eat only during a 4-hour window and lost another 20 pounds over the next few months. Then I went OMAD, or 1 meal a day, plus 5-2, which is you eat for 5 days of the week and you fast for 2 days. And I lost another 30 plus pounds, which I've maintained for the last couple of years, clocking in at around like 177 pounds as of today. So that puts us at a total of at least 120 pounds lost. Have I maintained it, and what have I done to maintain it? The answer is yes. 3 things. First, I start with my target daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. Let's enter some numbers. Input age. Okay, for me, that's between 25 and 62. I've got them Asian genes, so you're not going to be able to tell. 6'3" and 177 pounds. Let's undershoot this and say light exercise. So based off this calculator, my TDEE, or what I would need to maintain my weight, is about 2,576 calories per day. And that is about how many calories I eat on the days I do eat. I don't count precisely, but I have a rough idea when I'm at my TDEE. If I decide to fast, then I take no or very little calories on those days. Second thing, my baseline is time-restricted feeding with a 16-8 protocol. It means at the very least, I skip breakfast every day. Despite loving eggs and bacon, breakfast was pretty much useless to me. It was a nuisance to prepare or drive through, and I always felt tired immediately afterwards. Food coma is like a real thing for me. Or at least it was. Side note, I do go on some extended fasts, usually once a quarter, and not for weight loss, but to promote and maximize autophagy and repair. In fact, I'll usually put on a few pounds in the lead up, but I digress. Third thing, my other baseline is low carb. I'm not pushing it. You can lose weight and maintain weight loss being a vegan, Mediterranean, paleo, whatever. This isn't a video about diets. Different nutritional profiles can incur different hormonal responses across different people that informs the body what to do with those calories. But I'd be remiss to point out the synergy between low carb and fasting and how they seemingly potentiate each other. Listen, for me it works. I mean, even if I make my own fresh pasta dough, a small bowl of it will make me feel off the next day and still triggers my inclination to find an excuse to binge. 2 huge steaks and a stick of butter would affect me none. That being said, my weight has fluctuated about 10 pounds during this time, and that is usually associated with a binge. That's because I don't restrict. If I'm out with my friends or on a date, there's a birthday, whatever it is, I'll eat what I want, and that might set me off for a few days. It's a trade I'm willing to make for a couple reasons. One, occasional stressors can be good for the body. Exercise is a stressor, so why not an occasional stressor coming from food? Also, if a drawback of daily calorie restriction is adaptation, then I choose to incorporate variation. Second, mental health is important, and I get great joy from spending quality time with good people, enjoying delicious food. Hitherto, and point of fact, ice cream is my preferred first date destination because reasons. My experience with all sorts of fasting makes it much easier to get myself back on track though. If I really went off the deep end one weekend, then I'll fast for a mirrored amount of time. It helps me get the sugar and carb cravings back out of my system. Simply avoiding binging in the first place might be an easier route to take. It's a decision for you, but I'm glad I have tools like fasting to turn to. And because of my affinity for fasting, I'm much less likely to go on a long binge in the first place since my relationship to food is already a different one than in the past. The things I make exceptions for aren't items like Doritos or Cheetos or any of the other O's, Cheerios. I don't find things like that delicious anymore. I'd mostly rather have a wood-fired pizza or like a whole rack of ribs to myself slathered in sauce. And if those things or even ice cream ignites a binge, it's relieved by things I keep in the house, which are, fresh whole cuts of meat, eggs, heavy cream, basically material my body's already used to. So the transition back into low carb and fasting is a fairly smooth one. As far as exercise, specifically for weight loss or weight maintenance, in my opinion, I think it's overrated. Unless you're training like an Olympian, your hard work likely only nominally expends calories while simultaneously increasing hunger. I mean, would you rather go all out, fast as you can go on a run for 45 minutes to burn 600 calories, or would you rather just skip a meal? I'd rather skip a meal.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Keep doing it.
Listen, losing weight doesn't have to be hard. There are other important health-related benefits to exercise, obviously, and that's why I do it. I do 9 minutes total of cardio via high intensity interval training on an air bike plus 300 push-ups per week. As I said, it doesn't have to be draining or painful. this eat less, move more. How about just eat less? How about another cliche, work smarter, not harder? Again, exercise is important, but we're talking straight weight loss here. Come on and daydream with me. If I had a weight loss show, it would be starkly different than Jillian Michaels.
Are you ready to work? If you quit on me again, you go home.
Those dizzy, nauseous.
Let me see it. If you do not throw up right now, we're gonna have problems. Every time you lay down, I'm gonna think, dead father. That's what I think. Now get up. I don't care if you both die on this floor. You better die looking good.
All I care about is that your ass gets smaller. That's all that I care about right now. That's it.
Jeez, talk about high intensity. Shit, my show would probably only run like 3 minutes long. It'd be like, hey everyone, so today we gotta like, not eat. Wanna like watch a movie or some puppy rescue vids? By far, this is the longest I've sustained weight loss, and fasting has been an immensely beneficial aid, quite the contrary to the beliefs of some. Sure, part of fasting weight loss is water loss, and that is to be regained upon refeeding, but it's a nominal percentage of your overall weight loss, and you can account for that. There's also a mental health component I haven't touched upon. Okay, briefly, I had to work on my mind and find replacement therapies that were not related to food, which I heavily relied on in the past. The great thing is, fasting and weight loss has been therapeutic for me in that department as well, putting me in better moods and headspaces. On that note, I do believe in jinxes. I believe now that I made this video, I'll be back to 300 pounds in no time. Would you like me then? I mean, his personality is kind of, it's one of a kind. You better like me. Please like me. Why are you silent? I just hurt my brain, I think. I need ice cream. Okay, take care. Be well, buds.